My name's Cheri. Welcome back to my Stampin' Up! Studio. We're continuing our tour through the preview sets that I was able to get from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. I did want to let you know that I have started the packets. So if you're a customer of mine, your catalog will mail tomorrow, which will be today when this video posts. So they're going out on Thursday. If you don't have somebody mailing you a catalog and you would like one, just hop over to my Stampin' Up! Web store and place any size order at all and use the host code, and that will let me know that you need a catalog. And I will get those out to you on Friday if you place an order. I'm out of the ones that I have now, but I do have another box coming on Thursday. So those will go out on Friday, and you need it because it's full of fabulous ideas. I wanted to show you a couple of the things that have been working on, and all of these already have videos up. So here is the jar of flowers, has this fun little punch. So both of these videos are posted. This card is actually buried in my catalog unboxing. So it's the very last thing. I just did it after I took the stuff out of the box, all of the stuff out, and I just winged it. So I'm gonna work on that set tomorrow. My daughter has that set and I'm gonna have her bring it over. These I just posted a couple of days ago, and they actually are part of the suite that I'm using today. So I'm not gonna use any of the paper today. The paper is maybe my favorite part of the suite. I do love the stamps too, but I'm not really even using the stamps today. I'm using the greeting, and that's all. Using some really cool things that are kind of different out of the set today. And then here's another one, again, made with the same suite that I'm using today. So you're really gonna love this. It's called Forever Greenery. And then here's a couple of others. A lot of the stuff this year is really different and unique. I love different and unique. So this is all done with dies. I'm gonna revisit this one because I didn't use the stamps out of this Birds and Branches set. I just used the dies. This is a really pretty one. Sent the other one that I made on the video off already to somebody that's graduating. I can't wait to get back to this one as well. So I'm doing round 2 of all of them. And this one's really a round 3, but because I haven't used any of the stuff in it, I feel like it's kind of a first one, but it is part of the Forever Fern, Forever Greenery. It's Forever Fern bundle, stamps and dies, beautiful. And then the Forever Greenery has the paper and then some of the cute little things that I'm gonna show you today. So we're using vanilla cardstock as our base, and then some shimmery white is what we're going to use for our die cuts. And then we're using the gold foil laser cut paper. And this stuff's always so beautiful, but this year it's exceptionally beautiful. But I did want to tell you that there's some on the clearance rack. There's some that's leaving, and while it's not gold foil, it's equally beautiful, and you could use it on a card like this. So look how pretty these are, and they just pop out. And this year, what I really like on these big pieces is always before, on these bigger pieces, you've had to take your paper cutter to cut these out. And this year, these are already die cut as well. So you just pull them out. So we're gonna use this piece. It's a little bit different of a cut than I've got on my sample card, but that's okay. We'll get to see 2 little looks. So this is the laser cut foil. And then we're also using the gold thread that comes in this suite, and I'm going to have spools and spools of this because I've used it on several cards already. And then we're using these really fun gold hoop embellishments. And when we were first flipping through the catalog online, which is never my favorite way to see it, we saw these, and my girlfriends and I were like, what, we have jewelry now? Which would be okay with us because we all make jewelry. Here's one of my bracelets that I've made. We make earrings, and we make bracelets, and we make necklaces. And maybe at some point these will become that. Because I'm sure we can figure out a way to get it to do that. But they are card elements, and I'm going to show you how to make it into a card element. So we're going to take our shimmer white cardstock. I am going to use my aqua painters, which are not in the upcoming catalog, but there's something better replacing them. So you could do the same technique, or you can use the aqua painters that you already have. And I have way too many of these, and I fill them with refills. So I usually fill them maybe 2/3 full with refill, and then I add just a little bit of water, depending on how dark the color is. And at one point I tried to get the colors on it, write it on, or put something on it so I could remember. They don't stay. So pretty much I just open them. I can tell when they're green. This is pear, but it's a nice strong color. So, and you can just put it on the shimmer white. You can do it on watercolor cardstock as well. I have a ton of videos, a ton on my YouTube channel, and I will link this to a playlist where I show you all that you can do, because it's a commitment to put them in here. The new ones version of Aqua Painters come with 3 different sizes. They're much cheaper than our past ones have been. As you can see, I love to do resist painting with these. That's one of my favorite things to do. And several of the things that I've done, I did, oh, what's this set called? Tropical Chic. I've done a lot with these and this, and the Forever Fern has a similar feel to it. That's much more artsy, the Tropical Chic, but same kind of look. So I already know a couple of things I'm gonna do, and I did use these with that. Here's Peacock, that was Olive. But you can see you get a lot more color much more quickly. Actually, this isn't Peacock, I think this might be Spruce. Or maybe it's Peacock and I put too much water in it. You can kind of control how dark it is. So I want that to be a little bit darker. Maybe this one's Peacock. I just pulled out 4 of my green pens. This one's the Peacock. And you can overlap them. I used it also with Tropical Oasis. I did some things with this. So now we just have some pieces of color. So now we've got shimmery cardstock and it's got color on it. You do need to be careful because sometimes when you pull it off, see, although I think I did that from holding it here, you can get stuff on you. And so, especially since I'm working with white cardstock, I want to get that off of me. So just wipe it off. You know, sometimes you just get inky fingers. Sometimes at camp, we all start the very first project and then we're already covered. And so then I just keep them tipped down because if you keep them tip up, it dries. This is just part of my collection. In a very, very old Stampin' Up mug. And it dries really quickly. It dries quicker on the watercolor cardstock than on the shimmer, but it doesn't take long. And then I'm gonna use something else that's old that you probably already have, because you know, you can't buy everything new all at once. So this is the Pine Plank embossing folder. And I'm gonna put, this is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, cut a 1/4 sheet full. Remember to always send them through fold first. You don't want to bust your plate, your folders. And if you send them through the other way, when it goes through here, and if you hear that click, sometimes that can bust your folders and you don't want to break your folders. But this is going to give us that fun farmhouse feel. This would make a really nice wedding card if you change the sentiment. Because, in fact, you could do a lot of white flowers. You could do a winter wreath with it. So I'm just going to pop this up on here. They won't cut as well as if I allowed for it to dry, but you know, I don't want to wait for it to dry. I'm going to do these a little bit different colors than I did my first card because I want to switch it up. So let's do these. And just, you don't have to get them all. This will give you a little bit of variation. And these are the fun little fern things that come in the set. I'm trying to decide how much I want to switch it. These are totally different colors than what I've got going on my other. And we'll do this. So everything's going to be totally different. Not one of them's on the same color as it was before. So sometimes when the cardstock's wet, it doesn't cut quite as well. It looks like they cut. And I'm just going to leave them there and pass it back through. And when I did that, like when I used these with my Tropical Oasis, which is in the current occasions catalog, this one's stuck. I liked for it to have a nice stripy look. So when I did these, I intentionally laid them on more than one color. You can see that's still pretty wet, but they're coming out. So you can get it so you have variations of color and more than one color on a piece, or lines of the same color if you want it that way. Read the dies in here. My other one, I had colored the paper and then went down and fixed myself a cup of tea and got the mail, so the paper was nice and dry, but nobody wants to sit here. You can use your heat gun if you want to dry it quicker. But wet paper will do what we need it to do, so we'll just go with wet paper. I'll pop them out just so they can dry a little bit more. None of them stuck in their folders when they were dry, like this one's already dry. So it's nice that they give you so many little flowers or leaves and they go opposite directions. So you have some that fit both ways. And then we're gonna need a little bit of scrap of that too, so I'll let that sit there and dry. You just want to make sure when the paper is damp and you pull it out that you don't tear it. Okay, so I'm going to take my card. It's just cut normal half sheet of cardstock. And hopefully my green doesn't transfer over to it. And the only adhesive we're going to use for this is the liquid Tombow. We call it green glue. And I'm going to maybe need another wet wipe. You know, I had a whole bunch of wet wipes because I used to buy them back in, I hate them. It reminds me of when I had babies and I don't like the smell of them. I hate them. But I bought them at Costco a long time ago. And I thought I would have enough wet wipes to last till the end of time. That was pre-March when all of a sudden you had to take a wet wipe everywhere you go. And now I don't have as many wet wipes. I'm running out of them. I didn't think after I bought wet wipes at Costco to have in my office to clean stuff up, I would have to ever buy them again until maybe I had a grandbaby. So I've just adhered this to the front of the card. And then to stick our fun little piece on, look how pretty this is. Isn't that pretty? This one looks much more like a Moroccan door. Maybe I don't like that one. This one looks like I'm going to India. Let's see how we like this one better. This one's a little bit more fun and funky. Matches the style of the first one. So to get this to adhere, we're going to take the green glue again. And I know my wreath's going to end up like right here. So just add a light little coating of that. It dries clear. And just stick that on there. And then a little bit more here. Now you're going to take your little hoop that's going to be your wreath and just center it on here. And then I'm going to switch, you know, this has a scrapey tip and a pointy tip, and the rest of the time we're going to need the pointy tip. So just kind of hold this down into the glue. And I'm doing one of those half wreaths that's kind of in style right now because you want the hoop to show. So I'm just going to add some glue right here where I know all of this is going to get covered up with flowers. The glue dries fairly quickly. That's why when you use it, green thumb, I don't normally have a green thumb, but I guess today I do. That's why when you use it and it gets stuck on you, it dries. It's not like Elmer's glue when you were a kid. If you were, you know, back in elementary school and you used to let it dry on your hands and you'd pick it off. It does not do that. It dries on your hands and it becomes a hot mess. So now we've got our pieces. And I kind of bent them a little bit, which is easy when they're damp, just to give them a little bit of shape. So I want my wreath to go up this way. So again, I can add enough glue down the side that it's going to help attach my wreath. And then just lay your stuff in it. And then here, the same. I'm going to try not to go too much that way because I want my wreath to just go halfway. And I have my Take Your Pick tool, which you can take over and wash off when you're done. So then I just started laying stuff on and then I added glue kind of to the top. And again, it's going to dry clear. And when you see my sample, it dried enough that by the time I was done messing with it, I could send my girlfriends who now are texting me. That's what my phone's, I use my phone to film. It's really hard to get people to not talk to you for that long of a time. But by the time I was finished making my wreath and I sent them, I was like, what does this need? Because I did add a sentiment. It didn't originally have one. I could stand it up and send them the picture. So just leave that little eucalyptus there. Grab this little eucalyptus. These are totally different colors than my other one. I like to do that. I like to see then what I like better. And then sometimes when we end up making these projects at camp, I do like mixes of my two, and I pick all the my favorite elements from the ones I like the best, or I let them pick. They could pick which colors they like, because this may end up being a camp project, because we are able to have camp in June, because we're living in a state that's semi-open. My county is not, but it's open enough because we can have 25 people, and I won't have 25 people in my house. So these, I just added little bits of glue here to the ends, and I didn't use all of these, but I ran them through just in case I needed them. And this stuff kind of moves around until it's dry, but, and remember, you have leaves that go both directions. Whoops. So I want some to go higher up on this side, because I want my wreath to look like it's going up. And so far I've managed to not get any glue on my hands. I shouldn't say that, because now I probably will. And a couple of times I stuck things on here and they all moved. See, that kind of moved a lot, but you can just move it all back. And where there's enough glue on top, you can kind of just lay this in it. And we're going to put a bow on it, so where there's a lot of glue right here, that doesn't matter. Maybe this time I will get them all on here. Oh, maybe I'm going to have one left. I think I had 2 left on my last one. And if you don't have the aqua painters and you want to do this, then just use colored cardstock. I just like this because it gives a little bit of variation in the leaves, so they're not all starkly the same color. Or you could paint them with I'm trying to find the ribbon and talk at the same time. You'd think I could do 2 things at the same time. I'm a mom. You could paint them with an aqua painter inside the lid of your ink pads, or with ink refills and Stella. You could color them a whole lot of different ways. Okay, so I've got this cord, and I want to make a tiny little bow for the center. I tried to do a tinier one before and I didn't like it, so then I cut it. So we'll see if I can get a tinier one this time. It was a bit too big and it was bothering me, so then I just cut it and made a floof. So if I have to do that this time, I will do the same. Oh, it's so hard to tie a bow when your head's not over the top of it, but nobody wants to see the top of my head. And I have a nice Cruella de Vil stripe going on, because I get to go back to the hairdresser next week. She could have done me this week, towards the end of the week, but I knew that I would need to mail catalogs. So how's that? I sacrificed the color of my hair to get you ladies your catalogs out. That is commitment, because she only had appointments the end of the week, and I was like, I wasn't sure at that point when my catalogs would be here, and I knew it was, I thought, I can't be gone half a day if catalogs are ready. So this is a much better bow, so I might like this one. So take this, and it unravels, and then all this little fray stuff here, see this? We don't want to throw this away because it's beautiful. So take a little bit of glue, that's why I haven't put my lid on yet, and just put it on the ends. If you don't grab, if it doesn't hit everyone, that's okay, because if some of it falls off later, but we'll get most of it. Oops. And take your pick tool. We'll start with this one because this is kind of a big grouping of it, and just kind of lift everything up. And look how pretty that is to have this just coming out the side. tiny little bit of glue here. And this is much more proportional to what my other one was. So that one I'm going to leave as a bow. My other one, I have rhinestones. This one, I'm leaving the rhinestones off because I'm not sold on them. And so second card, and that was why I went with some stronger colored leaves on some of my bigger ones in lieu of the rhinestones. So you can look at them and decide which one you like. And it may be that at the end, I decide that I do want some rhinestones. Oops, see, whole thing moved. But when the whole thing moves, you just pick it up and you just put it back. Just like that. Because the whole thing starts to glue itself together. So then when you pick it up, the whole thing can move. Let's glue on that. Lift it up more carefully this time. It's like you're playing the game Operation as a child. Here we go. This would also be really pretty in the fall with some fall colors. It'd make a great Thanksgiving card. These are a bit too long up here. So on my other one, I did add some of the holiday rhinestones, which carry over into the new catalog because you can get, except for the red, all of the other colors match the card, and I'll show you. But I'm going to leave them off of here to see if we like it better without. It made it feel a tad bit Christmassy to me. So then I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to hand cut, because this all has a hand cut feel to it. And I'm going to get a chunk of this. And it doesn't have to be straight because look, none of those are really straight. They're all wobbly and crookedy. You like wobbly and crookedy because we can all do that with our scissors. I've been a demonstrator for so long that we didn't have paper cutters and we didn't have punches, any of that when I started. So everything was a little bit wobbly and crookedy when we started. And we just said it's handmade. So I'm going to go back to my smudgy. And this is where I'm going to be adding my sentiment, but I want it to have a little bit of highlight. And see, the nice thing is because that's all crookedy, you can't even tell if mine is because it gets all hidden under there. So I'm going to take the sentiment out of the set, and I just have the hello. And I'm just going to use a little piece of the scrap here, and it may end up that it has some color on it. That's okay. It'll just match everything else. In fact, I may actually pick a piece where it has a little bit of color. So let's go right here, which is different than my other one, but on my other one, I have a rhinestone. So again, I'm just going to hand trim it. Shock and horror. I know some of you hate to hand trim. I'm going to get it fairly close. And really, anytime, this look is really on trend right now, the little label look. And if you get up close to your letters, then it really is hard to make it terribly crooked. And because my paint there is crooked, that's going to help camouflage if it's crooked or straight. And again, just add a little bit of squidgety with my squidgety tip. And we did the whole card with no other adhesive other than the green glue. And there we go. So here's this one, no rhinestones and some darker flowers. And see, I can already hold it up for you guys. It's not going to fall apart. It'll be dry in a good 5 minutes. It'll be all the way dry. And then here's my other one. So it's different already because the background, this is a much more gold strong background. So I think that helps not needing the rhinestones. You can see my background's a little bit different, and then the rhinestones. And then because my back leaves were lighter and my smaller leaves were the darker. It just has a little bit of a different feel. I like them both. I don't know that I would have a favorite. I think that you could do you could do a beautiful, beautiful Christmas wreath with this. So when Christmas comes, I say that often, and then, you know, our Christmas catalogs come out and there's so many Christmas things. I can't find the time to go back and Christmas up something. So maybe at Christmas in July, I'll make a little Christmas wreath with one of these before we have Christmas stuff. But here, let me show you. See, this was too big, and so I cut it apart, and then I just flung those. So this one doesn't have, well, I guess it has almost as much of the gold thread here. So just a different look. I just randomly placed those kind of to stand in as flowers. And then here's this one. So it's super fun. It's much more, it feels a little bit more crafting maybe than stamping, because there wasn't a whole lot of stamping. But sometimes it's fun to do something a little different. And this is a little different. And if you're already going to have the Forever Fern bundle, you're going to have the die, so you might as well add the hoops and then have a little fun with it. And you're going to love these laser cuts. You're going to want to put those on your first order because they'll just make anything that you add them to look super fancy. So that's what I have for you today. I'm so undecided on what set I do next. I don't know if it's going to be the birds or the blossoms again. I haven't decided. So, but you'll have to check back on Friday, and your catalogs will be out in the mail, so be watching for them. If you don't have somebody sending you a catalog, then just hop over to my website. The links are on my blog, so you can go over there and get those. Everybody have a great day. Bye.